Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 18th day of January, 2024, Thursday of the second week of the year, the second week in Ordinary Time. Coming to you from our courtyard, where it is a very frosty morning. We had morning prayer inside today because it was so cold, but empty courtyard. There goes some of our, who are they? Who are they? Oh, they are our third graders. There's our third graders. Our third graders going on the way to art, I believe that it is. So there they all are, there they all are, there they all are. Wishing us a happy morning, a good start to the day. Today on this Thursday of the second week of the year, continuing the saga now of Daniel and Saul. Again, as Israel is becoming the nation it is meant to become. Again, not without its bumps and bruises and its ups and downs. And so David has killed Goliath, the Philistine, cut off his head, brought it back into Jerusalem, or brought it back into the shrine at Shiloh, and everyone is praising David because of what David has done, and they make up this chant in which, Saul has killed thousands, but David tens of thousands, and now Saul is getting angry again. Saul doesn't really realize that he has been rejected by God yet, which is not a very good thing for God to be doing to Saul, not telling him that I'm passing on your leadership to somebody else. But see, now Saul gets angry at David and wants to have him killed because everybody likes David better than they like Saul. And it is now Saul's son, Jonathan, who should be heir to the throne, who now intervenes, and says that, David has served you well, and David has continued to serve you well and done good things for you and allowed for you to be able to, retain, the kingdom of Israel that you have. And so Saul begins to relent. Now, Jonathan, this interesting character in the book of Samuel, this sort of go-between Saul and David until it becomes impossible for Saul to continue as king. Jonathan becomes friends of David, and their friendship grows into a very strong bond, and almost like brothers they become. Again, which is this very interesting kind of development that God allows to happen, that God permits to happen, as God is beginning to sort of move people around like pieces on a chessboard. It's a very interesting picture of God and what's happening. But Saul still has yet to recognize the fact that he, is no longer going to be king, and that David, is rising not only in popularity, but also in qualities of leadership. That is something that we'll see continue to unfold as we go through the book of Samuel in the next couple of days. The gospel for today, basically Mark chapter 3, basically is just Jesus going on and doing a whole bunch of healings. He tries to get away. He tries to kind of get away from the sensationalism that basically has now surrounded him. But people just keep coming left and right. And this is the whole problem with this opening of ministry in Mark's gospel with Jesus, is that it's all based upon a sensationalism. See the man do great deeds. See the man cure people of their sickness. See him contend with evil spirits. It is not about refocusing our lives on what it means to be people created by God and to live as brothers and sisters with each other. That's unfortunately not what's being communicated enough. And it's interesting that Jesus' ministry always begins sometimes with the sensational, with the healings, with the expelling of demons, with all these other kinds of things, and not with basically standard teachings. And you might think that that's kind of an odd way to begin, the proclamation of the kingdom. Well, in Mark's gospel, it begins to attract people. And like many ways, you have to use sort of a wow factor to bring people into listening to what it is that you have to say or what you're going to do. So too does Jesus, I guess, in a weird way. And it's in gathering those people for the special effects that Jesus begins to create this kind of following that within the next couple of chapters in Mark, he's now going to begin to teach, and teach in a different way than the scribes and Pharisees do, teach in a different way than they have been taught to think about God and to understand their relationship with God. Jesus had to pull them in one way. God had to pull them in one way through these great acts. And it is in that pulling together that people begin to see and realize that there is something more in their midst than just a wonder worker, than just somebody who does great special effects. There is somebody here who is helping them to realize something more about themselves, about their place in the world, about their God who loves them dearly. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.